KICKASSETS. Cha-ching!
Alright, I'm doing through a mic this time, see if that actually helps. It's a little bit windy today and busy traffic and noisy out here, but figured why not do it through a mic. So today we're going over the properties I looked at recently and answering which one I went with. So basically the first property we saw was the one near Saitama Shintoshin. I'll show you on the screen here as well. It's the one that was 13 minutes walk from that station. That was a great point about it. So location's amazing, it's a great station. It's like a literally 8-minute walk to the mall there. And the outside garden area was great. Like the green, like it was an open space. So that's kind of important sometimes if you don't like being cramped in. I didn't like the bathroom. The place was in half-ass shape, or quarter-ass, or 1/8 ass. It's like just wasn't the greatest. So, and it's not rebuildable, obviously. So other than the location and that surrounding, I didn't like anything else about the house. So did I get that one? I don't know. We'll see. That was number one. Number two we saw was the shit orange house. Apologize my language here, but yeah, it was the even super half-assed done place where the boards were all over the house, like covering the windows even. They literally used 12mm boards instead of painting or wallpaper just to make it look different. Just not right. So what I liked about that place was just basically the price at 6.8, because it's cheaper than the first place, which is 9. 9 is actually a good price for the Saitama Shintoshin one, considering the location, because a normal house would be over 20 million in that area for a used one. So yeah, 6.8 is even cheaper, and it's, you know, is decently located near a station, not the greatest station, but a decent station. And basically that was the only thing I liked about it. Everything else was just crap. So did I get that one? You could tell by my face. Yeah. But the price was pretty good. Number three was 9.8 for the house that was built in the 80s with all the sakura on the trees outside. So like that road we walked along there, it was beautiful. So the area was fantastic. Distance from the stations, it's doable. It's about 20 minutes. Not a great station, but it's a station. The area was good. The house was in a decent size, and some of the rooms were in really good shape. It was fine. Things I didn't like about it was the kitchen sucked. It's too small. The bathroom, shower room, things needs to be redone. So yeah, that's still going to cost some money there. But it's 9.8 million, which is not saying it's horrible. It's just, yeah, when you only get to buy one out of 4 or so properties, you start to weigh out the options on each house. So yeah, did I get that one? Yeah, I don't know. Hey, there's an ant on my arm here. Dude, I'm recording here. Okay, buddy. All right, so number 4 was 7.8 million. Quite far from the station, but a good station, Uruwa. It's kind of small. What I liked about the place was it was all renovated in the basement, the bottom floor there. The kitchen, the shower room, the bathroom was all done. So that's 2 million yen right there, at least, invested into the property, and that's a good thing, because you don't have to deal with that. But there's still other stuff that needs to be done. And the rest of the house was in decent shape, I guess, I'd say. But I just felt I didn't like the house, that it was too cramped in on the outside. Like, to get to the house, there's no room in the back when all the new houses pop up there that are going to be built. Right now it's open, but when they're built, it's going to be all cornered in house, and it's not going to be the greatest. So yeah, but as an investment, yeah, it's not horrible. It's non-rebuildable. It's an older house. So, yeah, and the outside wasn't the greatest. Did I get that one? I don't know. So, yeah, we got these 4 here. But I did go see another one during that time. Number 5. It was between, I went to see it between, I think, the second and third place. But the reason I didn't make a video on it is because it's an owner change, which means you can't see the inside. So I basically took a 1-minute video, which I might show you here, of just the outside. So basically an owner change means it's already being rented out, and this one's 7.5, okay? And it's being rented out for $650, so it's a 10% return on investment already, and they're already living there. So it says on the paper here that it's been renovated, but you really never know how true that is. Like what's been done. Is it a half-ass renovation like some of the houses we've seen, or is it an actual good renovation? By going what it says on the paper, it seems like it's probably swaying more towards being a good renovation here. I'll show you the paper later. And yeah, so I'm gambling when you buy it because you're not allowed to see it, so until they move out you won't tell. And even if it was renovated, this is 10 years ago it's been renovated, so you don't know what the condition is right now. They might have trashed it. So that's a gamble on your part. Now this is Japan, so I'd sway towards it being okay and worth the gamble, you know, but yeah, it's up to you. Some of my clients have gone with owner changes, OCs they're called here, and yeah, they're safe investments. And usually the tenants that are already there, they might stay there for a really long time. So yeah, that's a good thing I thought about this property. The bad thing is you can't see it. So did I get this one? Maybe, maybe not. So out of these 5 properties, which one did you think I got, and which one did you think was the best, or were they all crap? Or were they all good? Well, I can only afford one after negotiating, so yeah, so let me see here, which one did I go with? Yeah, it was a tough one. Okay, well, the truth is that I put a bid on the 9 million house just for kicks. But my offer didn't even get sent in because as the guy was calling in to send my offer, they said it was sold 3 hours after I went to see it. So, yeah. Thanks, buddy. So this is to teach you, if you really want a property, you got to put a bid on it. But I wasn't 100% sure on this place. I really loved the location, but the washroom really scared me. So, you know, I just didn't feel it. Didn't feel it at all. But if I could get it for a specific price, I would put that gambling in. But unfortunately, you know, I was putting in a way lower offer than they were expecting. But it didn't matter because it didn't get there. And it sold for full price 3 hours after I left. Basically, I was the second person to see it, and the first person who went to see it put in an offer as I was pretty much seeing it, like just after I saw it. Yeah, so they came at about 10 a.m. and I came at about 11 something, so they put the offer in maybe around 1 or 2. So I would have to offer full price right away if I wanted to get it. And of course, my agent was trying to convince me to see other properties as well because he wanted me to actually get a property with him. So he cost me this property if I wanted it. But I was okay with letting it go. So, all right, let's be honest. So the second property, didn't get it. Forget it. Wasn't even a thought. Screw that. The third property, yeah, it was tempting. It was decent. I didn't mind it, but yeah, I didn't get it. You know, looking at investments points, and it wasn't bad. I would have been okay with it, and you know, it's still there. If it's still there in the future, there's always options. But right now, I just didn't feel it at that moment, and that's because of this house here. Just kidding, not this one. I didn't get this one either. Didn't feel like it. Yeah, I just didn't. Even though this is the closest to my actual current house where I live now, I just didn't like how it was boxed in like that. you know, and seeing it at night really scared me too. Hope I scared you. But I went off the books and I got the owner change one. This one here, number 5, which I'll talk about in this video here. So yeah, I went off the board. That's why I didn't go with number 3, because number 3 was 9.8 for a decent looking house. But I went with a 7.5 because it's cheaper. 7.5. It's cheaper than 9.8. It's also cheaper than the Saitama one. And the location is 20 minutes from the station. You know Hamachi Station, which is a decent station, not the greatest. But I figured, why not? And it's, 20 minutes is okay. It's not 30. It's not 10, but it's decent. It's doable, And because it's already being rented. So, and also you can access Omiya by bus in like 15 minutes, or you can actually walk to Omiya in an hour if you want, and Saitama Shintoshin in 50 minutes, 40 or 50 minutes. So yeah, it's still within reason of these places. So that's why I went with this one. And the fact that it's already rented, I have to think about it. Oh, and it's renovated. So you look at the price, 7.5, and that's including its renovations if they're good. So let's get into the story in detail about this property right now, because it's another fun one. All right. So why did I go for this property? 7.5, and the story behind it. Well, yeah, at first I wasn't 100%, but when I originally put in a bid for the 9 million place, and I figured I wouldn't get it anyways, but I tried just for kicks. Even though it wasn't perfect, but the location was just priceless. So if I get it at a good price, I would have been happy with that. So, yeah, this was also attractive because it's all set. The balance is perfect for everything, really well, perfectly balanced. There's always grass here cut. But anyhow, yeah, so the asking price for this is 7.5, and they're getting rent is Rokuman Gosen per month. There's taxes in there, of course, but, it's a light 10% return on investment per year. And it's guaranteed because the tenant's already there, and they're already happy living there. And the place was renovated 12 years ago, according to this paper. So when you think about that, it's already set. And not only that, the fact that it's being rented out right now, the rent is $650, like I said, but I think that rent is quite low for the area. I think it should be more up at 90, 100, to be honest. So technically, if I look at it that way, if they happen to move out and I get a new tenant, my ROI goes up big time. So if you look at it that point of view, but I don't always buy houses on ROI alone. I buy them how I feel about the house itself, So even if I can buy a dump for 30, 40 and rent it out for 80, it's just like, do I really like the house or not? So ROI is important in some senses. I don't want to get just 1% return, but it's not the deciding factor. It's a balance of things. So I like balance when I look at my places. So first off, that attracted me to this place is, yes, it's being rented out already. Second was when I went to see it and I touched the outside of the house. The siding was in decent shape, which tells me that the person who renovated it before actually did a decent job renovating it, even though I couldn't see the inside at the time. I'll get to that. A couple stories here to go over, folks. Okay, so first story is the agent that the guy who's showing me all the houses, the guy in these videos, the last 4 videos. Young guy, nice guy, went along with everything I said. I could say sarcastic jokes and stuff like that, and he'd be like, oh, yeah, and I'm 48 now. I don't, I'm a hard, diligent worker, but I'm also a sarcastic prick because of dealing with stupid shit like this. I don't like it when people gaslight you and stuff like that. I mean, I guess he's nervous. It's his first job, so I'll cut him some slack. But I just don't like that society does that to people. And he wants to make a sale and impress his boss. I believe he's either 23 or 26. I'm going to go with 26 on this one. So he's a young kid, very enthusiastic. He was nice. He brought me all the papers because obviously he wants to make a sale. So he shows me all these places. And now the places he showed me at the bottom of the ad here is his phone number, his company's phone number. So I can't go hunting down the seller's agent on my own. Oh, and that's another thing about this one. It wasn't listed. A couple of the properties he had in his binder weren't listed. So, you know, it opened my eyes to a new one here. So basically, what happened is, okay, I put my bid in for 6.5. You know, it'd be cool. He's like, you know, why not? It seemed like a decent deal if they wanted to sell it. And he came back like within the next day saying, nah, sorry, they rejected your offer. They want full price only. And I'm like, it's still a really good, decent deal at full price. I mean, full price is 10%. So I get less, it's, you know, a little bit more. It's also the fun of the game. Negotiating is a blast. But sometimes you don't overdo it when you know a property is already priced very well and you still want it. So you have to put that into balance. If you don't really care about a property like the 9 million one, I lowballed them. I offered less than 7, so let's put it that way. And I lowballed them in that sense because if I got it for that price, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But if I didn't, I'd be like, it's fine. Because I didn't want to pay full price for that place, unfortunately. I liked the location, but I just didn't want to pay 9. Even though it's still a decent deal for whoever got it. As you could tell, it sold in 3 hours. So I didn't feel it. So basically, yeah, so he said on this property here, I have to pay full price. And I'm like, okay. So I said, fine, let's offer 7.2 just to see their reaction. And thinking, they wouldn't say no, just 300,000 yen difference. But surprisingly, they did. Well, at least I thought they did. He said, no, he came back saying, no, they only want full price. But I still think it's a really good deal. You should go for it. You want to do it? He kept pushing me on it. I'm like, wait a minute here. And it just so happens that the person selling this property is currently living in Kanazawa, where I happen to own a few properties, coincidentally. And I met, I made friends with an agent there, or two. And of course, because of that, it just popped in the back of my head like, oh, I know an agent up there, Kanazawa. So let me just ask him. So I phoned up my agent. I showed him the picture of the property here. And he looked it up in the Reigns database. And he found it. He gave me the information directly to the seller's agent, which I called as well. And he was hesitant to deal with foreigners, unfortunately. But luckily, my agent talked to him as well to ease his pain. Because it's, when you deal with these non-rebuildable, these owner change, these properties, well, any property in general, but these ones especially, they're scared that the foreigner's not going to understand, or they had issues with it. And that seller agent had a problem with a foreign buyer before, so he didn't want to go down that route again. And he didn't. And after talking for a while, he realized that, I lived here a long time and I'm okay. So, and my agent also helped with that. But the agent just, I asked the agent. Well, the agent asked me, "What's your budget?" I said, "Well, I really wanted to buy the place for 7 at the most, 7 million yen." Even though 7.2 just got rejected. And he got back to me. He's like, I think that's the minimum they're willing to negotiate on the offer as well. So I think you could get away with that 7 million. I'm like, huh? What do you mean? I'm thinking in my head, let's not jump the gun here. They rejected 7.2. Or did they? So the young agent I was working with, either lied to me to get more on his commission, or the seller's agent didn't want to work with him, or he didn't even send in the offer at 7.2. Because when I was talking to the actual seller's agent on my own, he's like, "Oh, you're the guy that put in the 6.5 offer." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." Of course, don't jump the gun and don't mention, but I also offered 7.2. I didn't mention that at all. I kept it quiet, just because I want to feel them out before you figure out what's going on in the story and who's telling what, because somebody's obviously not telling the truth. So when my friend agent got back to me and said, yeah, they're willing to accept 7, I'm thinking, okay, the young agent must have lied to me, or something's not right there. So, and the agent kept emailing me back. So you want to go full price? You going to buy it? You going to buy it? You want to buy it? I'm like, nah, I'll think about it for now. But the seller's agent said, yeah, I'll work with your agent, your friend agent, if you want, and we'll sell it to you for 7. So crazy story, right? That's insane. It's how that works out. So not only is the actual seller of the house currently living in Kanazawa, but the agent, my friend, who will be helping me finish this deal, is also from Kanazawa. Like, God's watching. The universe is watching. It's insane to think like that, but it's the reality of the situation. It's funny. So I saved myself. Well, that agent almost cost me 500,000 yen because I was almost just going to say, yeah, screw it. Let's pay full price. It's worth it. So, hey, 500,000 is 500,000, right? You know, and of course you can always try to get more off if you want, but you don't want to push the buttons, and it's like to get an extra $1 or $2 off is not worth it. But I just appreciate the honesty of the seller and my current agent. I'm really curious to know with what the young agent was thinking, and I'm not going to bring it up because I don't want him to sabotage my deal. Oh yeah, by the way, he offered 7.2 to me. You can get more. Like, yeah, 7.27, whatever. It's pretty close enough for me, so that's why I was willing to do it. And I would have even done 7.5 on this particular property. But I'm not going to say anything to burn it up and screw it until the papers are signed. Then I might slip in a few questions to the seller agent. I'm not sure. Maybe I won't. I'll see. So, pretty insane, right? So it means you got to be careful. And sometimes you don't know what's going on. And it's okay to question things, but don't show all your cards right away. You know, this is the second time this happened to me. Not the same thing, but like on my 10th house, the price I offered by email was higher than the price I actually paid for the property because they either didn't read the email or misunderstood it or something. So I'm like, okay, yeah. I think I said that story in the 10th house video. So there's no lying involved. It's just a mistake on the agent's part. But either way, it went through. So that's pretty cool. So still the issue with this place is that, yes, okay, it's a decent deal. The size of the land is 80 meters squared, which is a decent size for this area because sometimes some of the houses in the same price ways are 40, half the size, right? It's non-rebuildable. A new piece of land or a new house in this area could cost a lot more, so it's a good deal in that sense. The house size itself is 60, which is a decent size for living. You know, I didn't mind that. Oh, and that's another mistake the young agent made. He thought it was rebuildable. That's what got me excited about it. First, I'm like, that's really cheap. And I'm like, nah, that can't be right. It's too cheap for rebuildable because the rebuildable in that area for the same size would be at least 15 million. So getting it for half price is insane. Half price with a house on it and renovated, that was like, yeah, okay, done in my mind. So, but if it was rebuildable on top of that, it'd be amazing. Now, it's not 100% not rebuildable. It's got roads attached to it. I just don't technically own those roads, so I'd have to ask the neighbors to use them to rebuild it. But I don't really care about that kind of stuff because I plan to use these houses for a long time, just to rent them out, because as long as they're in decent shape. If it was a really shabby house on non-rebuildable land, then I wouldn't get it because it's just, you know, you have to rebuild it. So you got to find that balance. My favorite word, balance, and this matched all the check boxes on that. So just my insight. So basically, yeah, the funny thing is the piece of land I own on this house is actually connected to another house. Like, who designs these things or decides these things? It's not the land, it's not the road in front of my house. It's an actual section of another guy's house on the same block. It's just weird. That's Japan for you. Yeah, it's crazy. So there's 4 houses on that street, so I'd have to ask 3 others to get permission to rebuild. So it's not impossible. That's all I'm trying to say. Or some cases it is where there is no actual road. So there's a road attached to this house. It's just not mine, technically. Okay. And that's it. I own 11.45 meters squared of that actual road, which it says on the paper here. So, but it's not in front of my house. It's a different area. It's front of the house on the right, if you look at Google Maps. So everything else about the house was decent. I liked the outside. It had some space there for bikes and motorcycles and stuff, especially in the back. Looked like it's in decent shape. So the only thing I was concerned about is the actual inside. Me being me, I don't give up on things. So I asked the original young agent, can you get pictures for me? He's like, no, we can't take pictures, obviously. I'm like, I know that, but can you get me some original pictures, like when it was renovated? Oh, they don't have any, said he asked. And then my current agent also said, I'll see. After you agree to their deal, then I'll ponder them on that. I don't want to bother them anymore. So I said, okay. And then he got back to me, and all he could say is like, no. And all he got back to me was he sent me 2 papers, one of them stating just the renovations that were done. Well, that was cool. So I got to see the paper, which I'll show you here, where 4 million yen were done in renovations. So not only am I getting the house for 7 million yen, but 4 million was already invested into renovations 12 years ago. So technically I'm only paying 3 for the land and whatever the frame is and stuff, because those renovations cost money, right? And I don't have to do those. Maybe I just have to change the wallpaper now. Unless they trash the bathroom and the kitchen, or if it was a really bad one. But you can tell when 4 million is invested, you know it's going to be decent. But still no pictures. But what I realized is at the bottom of that paper was the phone number. So what I did is, on my own, without asking anybody, because I know if I ask, they're going to say, don't do it, I phoned up the renovation company. And I asked them, hey, do you remember renovating this house 12 years ago, blah, blah, blah. Do you have any pictures by any chance, before and afters? And they said, let me just, oh, wait a minute. Are you talking about that house? I'm like, yeah, how did you know? He's like, oh, because the seller's agent just requested those papers for the details of the renovations. I'm like, and they didn't ask you for any pictures at the same time? He's like, no, they didn't. Even though I asked for pictures. Like, duh. It's just amazing how you have to do a lot of things on your own in Japan, because the agents, the sellers, all these people, A, don't know what to do, B, don't have the initiative to do it on their own, and C, are intimidated or scared to do too much. They just want to keep it slow. So you got to learn, obviously, where to push the boundaries, but you have to do a lot of it on your own here in a nice way to get shit done, if I'm being nice here. But yeah, so that's what I did. I took it in my own hands, and I phoned the number up and I asked her, and that's what that conversation came up. And so I said, oh, okay, so that means you have no pictures. She goes, oh, no, we have pictures. Oh, you have pictures, that's nice. And I asked her really nicely, do you mind sending me those pictures? Thinking she's going to say no, because it's like, oh, that would be sneaky. She was like, no, I'll send it to you. It's like, I'm like, you trust me? It's like, of course, because you got this number, obviously, and you obviously know the paper that you sent them. So because they know I'm connected to that some way. And I asked her really nicely, please don't tell them I did this, because I don't want to cause any ruckus. So she sent me pictures, which I'll show you here, of what it looked like before and after. And I was already okay with risking it, but after seeing the pictures, like, oh, okay, totally peace of mind, because it's totally a system kitchen, it's totally a system bathrooms and normal stuff. So it wasn't just a orange board renovation crap job, okay? It was actual real renovations, which I already kind of figured out from the siding of the house. So yeah, I mean, on the sheet here it says LDK, Washitsu and Yoshitsu, which is a Western room, and Japanese room was done. The tatami and the walls, wallpaper, even the ceiling wallpaper, and the flooring was done, and in the kitchen and the bathroom were all changed, everything. So that's golden and unit bath. So it didn't look like it was half-assed, but seeing the pictures put my mind at ease. So now I feel like I made a great purchase, you know. If I could buy them all, I would, because it'd be fun. Every one of them could be a project, but when I only buy one every few months, every year or whatever, every 2 years, depending how long, what I'm looking for, you know, because prices are going up. So, but yeah, it's fun. So when you can only choose 1 out of 5, like I did in this route, I went for it. So basically I had a certain amount of savings, and I bought the bungalow, number 14. And of course, that's what I'm thinking. When I'm buying the bungalow, I'm thinking I want to buy 2. I always try to aim, can I buy 2 houses at once? Is that possible? And if that's the case, how much do I have to get each house for? So getting the bungalow for how much I got it for, and left me with enough change to get this. So kind of broke, but it's fun, you know. And like I said, if I could buy them all, I might buy a lot of them, but I'm limited, so you do your best at choosing. And bungalow was easy decision. That was a no-brainer for me. It was just a gorgeous property for the price as well, right? You got to always think about how much you're paying too. So if the bungalow cost me 30 million, be like, I could buy something else. But because it was, 10-ish, less than 10, it's a good deal. So, and this being 7.5, you got to remember prices in this area have gone up. Finding properties under 10 million on any of the two major lines in Saitama, the Saikyo-sen line or the Keihin Tohoku-sen line, and with before Omiya, anything under 10 million is complete dump, super far from the station or non-existent. And if you look on the list right now, online right now, there's not many listed. So, hey birds. Cute little birds in the garden down there. There's not many listed, so you got to jump on these ones. And I think this property is worth at least 10, especially being renovated at all. Especially seeing that the 6.8 one you looked at was in rough shape in the same area. So you can totally tell a deal when you see one, right? A 6.81 was rebuildable though, but it was just like total crap. So yeah, that's what it is. It's all about. So when you're limiting your prices, of certain areas, anything like if your budget's over 10 million in this area, you start getting more options at 13, 14, 15. So when I see something under 10 and it's decent, I jump right at it, So, and you got to start going out farther than Omiya, I guess, in my area. So you just got to know your areas and get used to them. And I've been in this area for a long time now. How many years? Bought my first house here in 2012. So yeah, 12 years here. Well, I've been here longer because my school's here, but actually living here and getting to know the area and real estate and stuff, it's been 12 years. So yeah, back then, I mean, there wasn't a lot back then at 10 million, but there was way more than there are now, and they were better condition and they were closer to the station and better stations. So yeah, things have changed. I'd say all the older properties in this area have doubled in price because people are actually starting to see value in any property, older properties, and not just new. Because Japan is always new, right? But recently things have been changing for many reasons. Corona, people are smartening up, foreigners are coming in, there's a pile of reasons. So yeah. So I'm happy with the property. Too bad I can't show you the inside, but here's the video of me looking around the outside when I first saw it that day. So, that's what I was going to say. The reason they didn't put this at home is because the seller didn't want to let the neighbors know he was selling, so he wanted to keep it quiet. So it was a good win-win for him because, luckily I found him by magic, right? So the odds of finding a buyer that way is a lot slimmer, unless it's dirt cheap, because the general public's not going to see it. If this was online at this price, I think it would have got a lot of people looking at it and it would have been sold really quickly. So I got lucky in that sense. So I'm thankful to the original agent, the young agent, who did show it to me. He got the ball rolling, but he blew it by lying or whatever happened there. I don't know what happened 100%, so I can't say for sure, but it wasn't good. So yeah, I'm just maybe the other seller agent didn't want to work with him because he's young. Who knows? I'm not sure what happened there. But at the end of the day, I find a way. Get shit done. All right, thank you. Beautiful garden down there. A beautiful house down there too. Like that. I wonder how much that costs. It's an older house, but it's in decent shape, great shape actually, and it's got a beautiful garden. All right, this is an owner change, so that means you can't go inside to see it. You just gotta look at the house and make a decision. It's a gamble. The siding's decent, that's for sure. Wow, tempting. I'm actually kind of tempted, to be honest. And it's already rented out, so it's rented out for pretty cheap though, that's the issue. I'd like to see behind the house. Apartment right behind the house too. See if they can get mad at me. Just pretend that. Interesting. Gotta be very quiet. It's rabbit season and we're hunting rabbits. It's duck season. It's Elmer Fudd season. So anyhow. Interesting. Alright, we'll clean the table before we do our contract here.
ちょっと待って、一応濡れてると良くないから。なんていうの？
取ってもらえるかな？
そうだね、下げてもらおうか。
Contract day. すいません、これ取ってもらえます。探してもらえますか？これもういらないです。はい、ありがとうございます。
OK。
はい。
そしたら、重要事項の説明書だね。名前だね。借りるね。だから早く見に来てほしいんだけど、まあ忙しいでしょ。
行くよ。
6月？
違う。
6月は梅雨だから雨降っちゃうんだよ。
そう、5月行く。だって5月のやつ何回も行くよ、5月と6月。
あ、こうなの？
それ個人。
まあいいか。
多分6月の5月の28日に行くかな。
楽しみです。
Oh, here we are. We got some fish. Oh my pond. はじめまして。よろしくお願いします。こんにちは。この店かわいいね。珍しい。普通さんな感じがしない。久しぶりです。こんにちは。はい、ライブですよ。はい、Say hello everybody. 嘘。はい。
じゃあ、
どこいいですか？
どうぞお書きください。
当期担当する司法書士の久保であると言いますので、
はい、よろしくお願いします。
これに20分ぐらいかけて。
ゲストもいいよ。
すごい現金商売だとこういう感じになるんですね。
だって急にお金変わってから一生懸命いじった。
10、20、30、40。
まあみんな数えるけどね。
ちょっと珍しいんですけど、5000円が20枚やったんで。
珍しいね。
50。
だって
700までなんだっていう
ありがとうございます。
お疲れ様。
でもね、下げてくださったのは成田さんですから、大事にね。
それで交渉したら、
はい、なるほど。そう、ずっと考えた。なんで急に、だって若い人だったからなんか断ったかな。関係ない？関係ない？そう。Well, today went successful. Property went through no problem. It was a really good meeting. And at the end, I had the balls to ask why or what happened with the other agent. You know, it's a little embarrassing because my newer agent is sitting right there, but I really wanted to know. And he was laughing, so it was fine. But basically, I got the feeling that the original agent never put in the offer for 7.2. And he just said, no, we want full price to that agent. And then lucky I half gave up and then called my friend agent to research more about it and get contact with him. And he found, and the seller's agent really liked that I actually called him on my own. And he just decided to sell to me for $7 million. Because he actually got a good feeling and he liked me in that sense. So I was lucky. I wasn't quite sure. You can never tell, right? Because Japanese like to feel people out. Or they're very conservative in that sense. So basically, me being there and my newer agent was willing to work with me on it. And the guy said, yeah, we'll take you. So he allowed my agent to come in too to work with me. And yeah, he negotiated with the seller and pushed the seller to accept 7 million, and the guy was like, yeah, okay, fine, we'll do it. So it wasn't that the younger agent was wrong. He was telling the truth about they wanted full price at the time, but I'm not sure about the 7.2 part. So maybe they would add, because they didn't mention that, so you'd think they would ask me for that, but no. So I'm guessing he didn't mention it. But yeah, they said they originally wanted full price, but because I was persistent and called back again by myself directly and going through my friend agent, I pulled it off. So yeah, here's to persistence. Lucky. Kick assets. Cha-ching. That was a good wink. All right, thank you. Oh, get to see the sunset from my balcony. You can see Mount Fuji from here. Well, you used to be able to until my tree's overgrown and it's hard to see it all the time. But you can see my man cave and my garden down there. Look at that. It's beautiful. You want to zoom in? You can see my strawberries. Whee! My strawberries are growing down there, and my watermelon. And my yuzu tree. Yeah. View is pretty cool from up here. You get to see more of my garden. And then my cutting tree, and my pineapple guava tree, and my orange tree. Yeah. What a beautiful view. Such a nice sunset. Alright, see you in the next video. Hi guys, I don't think these guys like me recording out here. Look at them, the Three Stooges. Hey Mo! Wait! Look, 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 look. Aren't you guys little cuties? Certainly! You mind if I come in now? You guys are funny. This is the boss cat. He's always got to make sure where I am. Okay buddy, I'm coming in.